Yes, yes, please.
Sir, can you please, sir, can you please show me the definition part? I mean, the previous slide of this one.
Just yes, yes,
Where
sure.
we have been discussed about the definition of absolute measures and the relative measures.
Yeah, just a second. There it is. Yes.
Yes, sir, this one.
Okay. Is there any doubt?
No, sir, I actually was trying to memorize the definitions and just missing it out. So that's why.
Okay. Just let me know when can I switch the lights.
Yes, sir, I'm done. You can change the slide.
Okay. Okay. So, in the last class, we have discussed the some basic theoretical meaning, some basic theoretical definition of measure of measure of dispersions. And in the end of the class, we have discussed the classification and the different techniques or tools or methods we are going to use under the two categories of the absolute measures and relative measures, that is range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation, and in the under the category of relative measures, it is coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, coefficient of mean deviation, and coefficient of variation. So today we are going to start them numerically and understand what are the different formulas or techniques by which we can calculate this, right? uh, we'll be moving in a way like we'll be doing range, and then along with range we'll be doing the coefficient of range. So we'll be doing the practice of both the measures like absolute measures and relative measures. First we will do the understand the concept of range as an absolute measure, and then move on to the coefficient of range as a relative measure. So this is how we'll be moving uh, today or in the coming classes till the time we'll be completing this measure of dispersion. So today we are starting with the range. Now, range as a word, I think this is quite common and quite popular word. So I want to hear from you guys that what do you understand by the term range? What do you mean by range? Yes, class. Anyone?
So a series of values
Mhm. A series of values. I mean, where you have heard about this word range? What is the range of this? What is the price range of this? We always use these words. Yes, price range.
so when
Yes,
so when
yes.
there's a upper limit and a lower limit, from this to this.
Upper limit and lower limit. Then
So if a price is between 200 to 300, they'll say it's in within range of 200 300.
very good. Okay. Yes, Anurag, you were saying something.
A set of data,
Sorry.
as a set of data different between largest and smallest values.
Exactly, exactly. So range is quite common and very the simple one. That range is nothing but the, if you want to find out the range, you will do it like highest observation minus the lowest observation. You just select the highest out of those and then select the lowest and then take a difference. So it is called as H minus L, right? That is what range. Suppose I have given 200, 500, 105, 92. 600, 780, 21. So what will be the range of this data? You just select the highest one. Which one is the highest observation? 780. The lowest one?
780.
Yes, it is 21.
92.
So
So
range
21.
is 780 minus 21, which comes out to be 759.
759.
So this is the range. I don't think there is any problem, but it's still, is there any problem you can ask? Any problem?
No, sir.
The difference between highest point and the lowest point is range.
Yes, difference between the highest observation or highest item and the lowest item is called the range. Right? We always say that range of this is like suppose if we are talking about some missile and we are saying that the range of this is let's suppose 4,000 kilometers. So that is what the actually the 4,000 minus zero. So that is the range of that particular missile. So that is what we call range. Range is quite very common and very normal and simple the measure of dispersion where we can check that to what extent the data is actually varying, to what maximum extent it is reaching. So we are just taking the maximum observation from the entire data series and we are taking the lowest one. If it is zero, we'll take it as zero. So the highest minus lowest will give us the range to a particular, we can say to what extent it can approach, up to what level it can reach. That is what range, right? Is it clear? Yes, anyone from the class? Can we move
Clear,
ahead?
sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. So then after just after the range, we have coefficient of range. Coefficient of range. As we said that coefficient of range or whatever it is actually the relative measure of dispersion. It is one of the relative measure of dispersion. So under relative measure, we always talk about ratio. So for finding out the coefficient of range, the formula of coefficient of range is equal to highest observation minus lowest observation divided by highest observation plus lowest observation. This is what the simple formula to calculate the coefficient of range. We have understood the range, and if it is being asked by as a coefficient of range, then we can calculate it. It is actually very, kind of very in very few cases it has been used. But yes, if we are studying all the measures of dispersion, so we should understand this. So if we take the same example, can you tell me what will be the coefficient of range? Quickly, anyone can tell it. It is actually the highest minus lowest divided by highest plus lowest. So highest minus lowest we have already
So
seen.
0.9.
Okay, 759 divided by h plus
0.9.
l. It will be like 801. So 759 divided by 801. Yes, 0.
Yes, sir.
0.9 something.
Yes, sir.
95.
Yes.
0.95 is the coefficient of range for this
94.
94. Okay, no issues. 9495. Some round off might be done. So 0.94 is the coefficient of range for this particular example we have taken. So let us take one example, one practice kind of a question. So we have data of the marks and number of students. So the marks are like 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and 50 to 60. The number of students are like 8, 10, 12, 8, 4. And it has asked that calculate the coefficient of range. So what we'll do in such question, like we have a data, what kind of a data it is? Discrete, continuous or individual?
Continuous.
Continuous.
Yes, so it is a continuous data. So if we try to find out the coefficient of range, the formula is like h minus L divided by h plus L. So we need to find out the highest observation and the lowest observation. So in such question, student get confused by this number of students. This is number of students. We are talking about range of the marks. So you just need to find out the highest range and the lowest range. So the highest range is what?
So 60.
Sorry, not range, highest
So 50 to
observation is
60.
60. Yes, highest observation is 60, highest mark is 60, and the lowest marks are 10. So we'll take it like this. So 60 minus 10 divided by 60 plus 10. So 50 divided by 70. What will it be? 0.7 something? 0.71.
0.71.
Yes, sir.
So 0.71 is the coefficient of range for this particular question, this particular practice example. Right, so it is quite simple. That is why I have done it in a quite in a hurry. But still, if you find any problem, you can ask any time. So range we have done. Now coming on to the quartile deviation. The second one. Quartile deviation. Now, quickly, anyone from the class can tell what do we mean by quartile? What do you mean by quartile?
The difference between upper and lower quartile.
Sorry, I am talking about quartile.
So
Quartile.
coefficient is
Hmm?
So 4 equal
quartile
parts.
deviation to divide different parts.
Into 4 equal parts. We have talked about quartile in the previous classes. We have said that quartiles are those variates, those values which divide your data
Yes,
set
sir.
into the 4 equal parts. Am I right? This is what the definition of quartile.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How many quartiles do we have? 4, 3, 2, 1. How many quartiles do we have?
3.
3. Q1, Q2, Q3. Right? So quartile deviation,
3 quarters.
and along with this, one more thing goes, that is interquartile range. This is also one of the small point which might be asked in any of the competitive exam in statistics, that calculate interquartile range. So we get used to with the quartile deviation, so we forget what is this. So we'll be doing this, but first quartile deviation. So obviously it is talking about the quartile. So we need to calculate the Q1 or Q2 or Q3. But in case of quartile deviation, as per the formula, we only need Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. This is what the formula for quartile deviation. Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Now, how to calculate Q1, how to calculate Q3? I think we have already done this. Any problem? The people who have joined in just last 2 or 3 classes, we have the complete recording available on the YouTube channel. I will be sharing the link, and I keep on sharing on the Google Classroom. Just of the last 1 or 2 classes I have not shared, so I will be sharing it today. So you can check those videos for the calculation part of the quartiles. That is how to calculate Q1 and Q3. So we need to calculate Q1 and we need to calculate Q3, and then we apply this formula and we'll find quartile deviation. The deviation among the different quartile. It has taken the two extreme ones. Q2 is there, so it has taken the difference of these two and divided by 2. It has given the quartile deviation. Any problem?
No, sir.
Now, I want to ask you guys, because we have done with the range, what can be the formula for interquartile range? Just think upon it. What could be the formula for interquartile range?
Sir,
So
Q3
Q3
plus
minus
Q1
Q1.
by 2.
Very good. Q3 minus Q1, because the concept of range itself says it is highest minus lowest. So if it
Yes,
is
sir.
highest minus lowest, we'll be talking about quartiles, and we all know that Q3 will be the highest one and Q1 will be the lowest one. So we'll take the range like highest minus lowest. So we have got the formula for interquartile range as the Q3 minus Q1. This is something additional we have discussed, but this is what the formula we'll have to use for quartile deviation, Q3 minus Q1 upon 2. So you yourself can understand that if I want to, make a detailed question in statistics, I can directly give a question like this, and I can ask directly what will be the quartile deviation for this question. Now you yourself can understand that the person will be able to find out the quartile deviation only when he knows how to calculate quartile. If you don't know how to calculate quartile in this question, will you be able to find out the quartile deviation?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So this is how the questions can be framed. Like they can give you a simple question. It looks like very simple, that marks and number of students are given, and we are used to such questions since the beginning of our school classes, the higher classes, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. But over here it has not asked you to calculate mean, median or mode. It has asked you to calculate quartile deviation, and the formula is quite simple. And it is easy to remember that Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. But the point which is important and the point which is critical is how to calculate Q3 and Q1. So if you don't know how to calculate Q3 and Q1, you cannot calculate quartile deviation. That is why it is important to understand quartile, and that is why I told you, I have given, I think we have taken 1 or 2 classes for quartile, percentile and deciles only. Because if you don't know how to calculate it, you will not be able to calculate the quartile deviation over. So it is kind of an interconnected topics, right? So will you be able to calculate the quartile deviation for this question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Will you be able to do it in coming within 10 minutes? Because if we'll be able to, if we do it this as a practice, I think it will be beneficial for the people who have just joined the classes from last 1 or 2 lectures. So it will be kind of a revision for those and practice for the people who are attending all the classes. So start doing it. You need to calculate quartile deviation for the given question, for which you might need to calculate quartile for quartile 1 and quartile 3, first quartile and the third quartile. Or anyone from the class can tell me how to calculate quartile for this question? Just guide me that how will you calculate the quartile? Anyone from the class who can tell me?
So Q1 is equal to, yes, sir.
Okay, you have
First the
calculated.
formula will be
Yes, someone was giving me the answer for Q1.
yes, sir. Q1 will be L plus in bracket in by 4 minus C upon F and into K
This is
bracket
what the
close.
formula. Okay,
Yes, sir.
this is Qi. So we can put I is
Qi.
equal to 1 for Q1 and
I is equal to Q1, Q2, Q3.
Okay. So first of all, we need to find out CF. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So 8
Yes, sir.
10 plus 8, 18. 18 plus 12,
18.
30. 30 plus 8, 38. And 38 plus 4, 42. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Then I need to find out n by 4. In by 4.
4.
So if I am calculating q1, this I will become 1. So I will calculate 1 into summation f. N is nothing but the summation f divided by 4. So 1 multiplied by summation f is the total of this, which will also be 42.
42.
Right? So 42 divided by 4.
10.5.
10.5. So 10.5. Now I need to check the CF, which is either equal to or just greater than 10.5. So I don't have any CF which is equal to 10.5, but just greater than this, I am getting
18.
18. So because of this 18, this is my quartile 1 class, the class for the quartile 1. Now I will take all the values for this formula. So let me take it on to the next slide. So Qi is equal to L plus In by 4 minus C upon F into K. So if I put I is equal to 1, I'll get Q1 as L plus 1 into N divided by 4 minus C upon F into K. So Q1 is equal to, now we need to find out all the values from this. Since this is the quartile 1, so L is the lower limit of the quartile class. So the lower
Lower
limit
limit of
is
the class.
20.
Okay.
L is 20 and 1n by 4 I have already calculated, it is 10.5 like this. Then L is done, this is done. I need C. What will be the value for C?
8.
C
8.
will be a
8. Why
8.
8? Because we will take the CF just preceding the quartile class, which is 8. Just preceding the quartile class. So C is 8. F. What will be the value for F?
10.
10. Frequency of the quartile class. So we have taken F as 10. And K, class interval 10.
Plus interval
30
is
minus
10.
20. So this is what we have taken. We'll take these values to that. So 20, 10.5, 10, 8, 10, 10. 20 is the lower limit. 10.5 is the in by 4, which is 1n by 4. 8 is the C, and f is 10, and class interval is also 10. We'll put all these values in this formula. So we'll get 20 plus 10.5 minus 8 upon 10 multiplied by 10. So we'll calculate it. Q1 as 20 plus 10.5 minus 8 will give me 2.5. 10, 10 cancelled out. So Q1 will be 22.5. Am I right? Yes. Let me ask to those people who have not attended the class for quartile calculation. Any problem in calculating quartiles? Yes, no. Please respond. No problem. So now quickly tell me the value for Q3. What will be the value for Q3? The question is same. Let me take you back to the question. The question is there. Calculate the value for Q3.
So if you don't mind, can you just repeat what are the function of each of the variables in this formula?
Okay. L is the lower limit of the class which you will select. Lower limit of the quartile class. Like we have selected this class, so lower limit for this was 20. In by 2
Okay, sir.
there only. C is the cumulative frequency preceding the quartile class. The class just,
Sir,
yes,
sir, sorry to interrupt, but I would like to say that I'll be going for my vaccination. So can I
no issues.
leave the class
You can,
for?
you can leave, no issues.
Sorry, sir, but I will join for the next
No
class.
issues, no issues. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So what is C? C preceding the quarter class. Like
Yeah,
here, what would be C then?
CF just before the quartile class. Like in our case, it is 8 for Q1. First,
Okay.
how you are calculating Q3. So for Q3, let me give you some hint. For Q3, we'll be first finding out 3n by 4. That is 3 multiplied by 42 by 4. What will be the value for this? Thirty-one point.
31.5.
31.5. So now check the CF just greater than 31.5. Which one should I select? Just greater than 31.5. It is 38. So we will select this class for Q3. This will be the class for Q3. So we'll be taking all these values of L, C, F from this class only. So for Q3, L will be what?
40.
40. C, CF just before preceding, that is 30. C is 30. F, frequency of the quartile class, that is 8.
8.
Take it as 8. And K will remain same, 10. So first of all, is there any problem in finding out all these values from the table? Anyone? Rishita, Rhythm, any problem? Because other people were there in the class when we were practicing the quartiles. So that is why I'm asking you to only. Any problem?
No, sir.
So can you just tell me how did you get P equal to 10?
Sorry? K is equal to 10.
You have written. Yes, sir.
This is class interval, which is common throughout the question. The difference among this is what we call class interval. You can check any one out of this.
Okay.
It
Okay.
is same everywhere, right? So it will remain same for Q1, Q2, Q3, whatever it is. It will remain 10 only. Yes. Any other doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So we have all these values. So now quickly give me the value for Q3. Put this in the formula. Formula is there only. So use that. In this formula, we'll put I is equal to 3 and we'll get all the values. So quickly tell me what will be the value for Q3. Okay, Anurag is saying 6.87. 6.87 Q3. Some problem is there, I think. Please recheck. Okay, Abhishek has already given the answer for Q3. That is
So is it 40.5?
41.5.
Sir,
It's
is it the answer 10?
10 for Q3.
I guess yes,
No,
10.
no,
Okay.
not that. See, when we are, I mean, how can you judge, check that whether the answer will be somewhere there? We have selected this class, so it has a meaning. That value for Q3 will be somewhere between these 40 and 50. Like Q1, the value for Q1 was what? 22.5, and you can check that 22.5 will lie between these 20 and 30. Yes or no? So selection of the class give you an idea that the value for Q3 will lie somewhere between these 40 to 50. So it cannot be 6, it cannot be 10. You might have done some mistake in the calculation. So I think let us do it. So Q3 is equal to L is 40 plus uh, IN by 4 will be 31.5 minus C. C is 30 divided by F is 8 into 10. So when I'll be solving it, I'm quite sure that it will be more than 40. So
So
how can
41.8.
41.8? Okay. So let us check it. It is 1.5 multiplied by 10 divided by 8. So it is 40 plus 15 by 8. So you just solve it and add it into 40. So 40 plus,
1.87.
yes, 1.87. So it is 41.8 or
So the
41.87.
answer is 5.62.
Sorry.
The answer might be 5.625.
Answer for what? Q3.
Yes, sir.
No. How is it possible? 5.63. Are you able to check the calculation which I have done on the screen?
Yes, yes, sir.
So have you done
Okay,
the
let me do
same?
again.
Have you done the same? Please check.
Oh, I have taken 0.5 instead of 1.5. That's why the problem is happening.
Okay. Okay. So it is 41.87 and we already have Q1 at as 22.5. So 22.5 is Q1, Q3 is 41.87. So now quartile deviation. Rhythm, can you please mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So QD is Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. So Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Let us put the value 41.87 minus
So
22.5
9.68.
divided by 2. What will it be? Someone has given the answer. Can
So
you please repeat?
9.68.
5.968.
9.68, sir. 9.68.
Okay. 9.68 approximately. So this is what will be your quartile deviation. That is 9.68. Yes. Is there any problem?
No, sir.
No doubt, no problem. I mean, even in the calculation of quartiles and in the calculation of quartile deviation, there should not be any problem, any doubt. If there is any doubt, please ask. Please ask. Because such things will be there in the examination. So you need to be very clear about the calculation. Although they are not that complicated, but still, if there is any doubt, even a simple one, please ask. So can we move further?
Yes.
Sir.
Okay.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
Vidhu. Yes.
Sir, like you have said, F is for the frequency of the class, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, like the frequency of the class is 10 for all the marks, like it's the interval is 10.
No. Frequency is this. Number of people, number of students. Frequency is this. This is frequency. How many observations are there? This is frequency. And
Okay, sir. Sure,
K
got it,
is
sir.
class interval. Class interval will remain
Yes, sir, got
same.
it.
It is 10. It is 10. Right?
Yes, sir. Clear now.
Okay. So now we have done quartile deviation. So coefficient of quartile deviation. So coefficient of quartile deviation is equal to Q3 minus Q1 upon 2, that is the quartile deviation divided by Q3 plus Q1 upon 2. So in a simplified manner, it will be Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. So you can remember it like this: coefficient of quartile deviation is equal to Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. But although the concept is this, that you have taken the entire quartile deviation and divided it by the average of Q3 and Q1, right? But when you simplify it, the 2 will be cancelled out by this 2, so you'll left with this one. So for this question, the coefficient of quartile deviation will be Q3 is what? Again forget. 41.87. So 41.87 minus 22.5 divided by 41.87 plus 22.5. So quickly do it and give me the answer.
Sir, it's 63.83.
63.83.
Sir, 0.30.
0.30.
30. Sir.
See, there might be some problem. 63 point something, it will not come because the numerator part is less than the denominator part. So how can it be more than 1? It will always be less than 1.
Oh, sorry, sir. My bad, sir.
No
I made a
issue.
mistake.
No issue. It's okay. So coefficient of quartile deviation is 0.30 for this. Everybody is agreeing with this? Okay.
Yes.
0.3009. So yes, so rounded off it is uh, 0.30 is also okay, or 0.3009 is also okay. So Abhishek has given the answer, and I think Aratrika has given the answer. What about rest of the people? Are you able to, cope up with me, go with me, solving the question, or you are just listening whatever I am speaking? Divya has also given the answer. Anurag has given the answer. So that's very good. Very good. Okay, Rishita has also given the answer. Okay. So I am taking you back to that classification chart. So today we have done range, coefficient of range, and quartile deviation along with coefficient of quartile deviation. Right? Among all these, the most important ones are these two. This is the most important one. And most frequently used measure of dispersion is standard deviation. It is widely used in statistics as well as the many other fields wherever we need to find out the variation, or in finance it is used to calculate or find out the risk. So standard deviation is the most widely used measure of dispersion. But today we have done these two, 1 and 2. Now we are left with these two more, which we'll be doing in the next class. So that's all for today. If you have any doubt, you can ask.
Okay, sir.
One thing I want to quote that yesterday
Okay, sir.
only three people have given the test for the attendance. Why so?